Technology has given us, amongst other benefits, an improved view of the world with tech systems like the drone technology, making it possible for us to capture the most fascinating and sometimes weirdest of things that may have gone unseen in previous times. Join us as we explore 12 weird footage captured by drones that we may not have seen but for this technology. Number 12. Bigfoot or not? The drone is a remotely controlled robot with a camera attached to it used for surveillance and sometimes to capture events in a crowded place. The beautiful thing about drones is that they can capture the tiniest of details that may elude a regular camera. One of these tiny details is what may or may not be Bigfoot, captured in Southport Park, Ohio. A Bigfoot is a supposed ape-like creature that is said to inhabit the forests of North America. This creature is also called the Sasquatch and has been the product of fairy tales and cartoons, although archaeological findings are substantiating their existence. This creature was purportedly captured by a drone camera in Southport Park, Ohio, and the 5 minutes long footage began as a normal recording of the forest, but things were about to change. One of the many gifts of the Bigfoot, apart from its extremely humongous size, is its speed and agility, despite its hair and its big feet, making it nearly impossible for anyone or any gadget to spot it clearly. However, the clip proceeds to show us what looked like the Bigfoot swiftly cutting across. The drone footage shows how fast the creature ran to avoid being seen. Apparently, it was oblivious to the camera above the forest. Although locals have affirmed the video as being true, the General Committee of Scientists and Archaeologists have not yet had enough reasons to accept the existence of Bigfoot. They see the video as a blurry view of an unidentifiable creature, concluding that it could have been any other creature and not the fairy tale Sasquatch. Number 11. Police Drone Detective. Drones were initially developed as surveillance systems, although they've come to be used to capture any kind of event. They were invented to beef up security and to help with field investigations in areas that may have been considered lethal. The next video shows how effective that drone technology can be at policing and investigating. This astonishing footage gives a clear and rather funny moment that a murder suspect was apprehended by a drone. The amazing thing about the footage is that the man was caught in his home and was forced to surrender not by gun or any form of close cornering, but just by a remotely manned robot with a camera. The drone would be employed to arrest the suspect in the murder of a renowned actor, Thomas Jefferson Bird. The modern technology was used to seek justice for the actor and his family, and the footage is extremely fascinating. Thomas Jefferson Bird is one of the prominent actors of the early 1990s, starring in several Spike Lee movies alongside with major actors like Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington, amongst others. The 70-year-old would be found dead in his apartment in Atlanta, Georgia, on the 3rd of October 2020 after being shot multiple times. The drone footage was then uploaded on Twitter, showing how the suspect surrenders willy-nilly to the drone. The robot was able to enter the suspect's apartment after the door was blown open by police, and it goes through different sections of the home until the man decides to give up to the drone. Maybe he just thought that the drone was armed. This surveillance technology was able to arrest a murder suspect that may have been armed and dangerous, and not only did it save many lives, but it also prevented a gunfight that would have led to a loss of property and acute vandalization. Number 10. Are aliens real? If there's anything that scientists have contemplated for what seems like forever, it's the existence of extraterrestrial life forces, what we would call the aliens. There have been a lot of theories and findings that surround the existence of aliens. However, for some, they've not been significant enough to hold a valid argument. However, a drone would capture something that looks like an unidentified flying object, or UFO, that can be traced to be an alien ship. This UFO was spotted by a Predator combat drone that was making its regular run. The drone would stumble upon what seemed like a UFO that was almost as fast as the speed of light. When the object was critically scrutinized, concerns would be raised as to the identity of the object. The object leaves behind a large stream of light, which was identified as a blast. When scientists were quizzed about the footage, they then dismissed it on the grounds that they had no other video to corroborate the footage. The speed of the object made it very hard for anything significant to be studied from it. Although the footage would be debunked as a hoax by some, a lot of conspiracy theorists began to purport that a classified science project done on actual aliens was already at play in America. And while it might be wonderful to know that we're not alone in the universe, it also pays to know that we don't have an advanced species on Mars that may begin waging war against the people on Earth anytime soon. Number 9. Dinner Drone. Naturally, the sky belongs to the birds and other flying creatures, things with wings and such. Drones are relatively small robots that may be mistaken for food or by predator birds. In this footage, drones are attacked by predator birds, and these birds see the robots as their next meal and such, and bring the machine down with one fell swoop. Although other larger birds do attack drones because of the noise that they make, while they can tolerate other cameras, the drone is a flying camera that makes funny noises with its fans. The robot is attacked and brought down by the birds in the footage, not because they're hungry, but because of the noise that they make. Number 8. The Alien Mark. Not a whole lot of evidence has been found as to the existence of aliens. However, the YouTuber Run Gun Griff, who is also a drone enthusiast, shows the world what has now come to be called the Mark of the Aliens. This is a very weird and fascinating sight indeed. This footage would be taken in a remote location in America. The exact location of this marvelous discovery has not been disclosed, but we can see how magnificent the markings are, as though it were made by an expert artist. The drone captures the Run Griff in the middle of what looks like a cornfield, but this is not a regular cornfield. It has what looks like some of the weirdest cult signs ever recorded. The most amazing and absolutely weird thing about this marking is that they're carved precisely in terms of symmetry and measurement. No human would have such patience to carve a curve field with as much precision as the one in this footage. When the video would be released, it went viral with a lot of religious faithful claiming that the markings were a premonition of some sort, while others, those who believed in the existence of aliens, asserted that the markings were made at the bottom region of an alien spaceship. Whatever it is, the fact remains that this is both weird and artistically appealing. Number 7. Witch Sighting, the Black-Eyed Child. Witches may not be real to you, but they exist in the heart of every city. Take New Orleans, for example, and some parts of Asia and Africa. This footage further proves the existence of these superhuman beings known as witches and wizards. A drone footage was caught by another curious YouTuber, supposedly looking for content to upload to his audience. The drone went through the woods, not sighting anything spectacular. That was until some moments later when it found a creature dressed entirely in white. Now, this may be weird in the instant, seeing a creature in the middle of nowhere clad in white, but things became more creepy when the drone moved in a little to reveal a very scary-looking witch, popularly known as the Black-Eyed Child, trying to perform some kind of ritual. There was no blood or any other paraphernalia that signified that the witch was carrying out a blood sacrifice, but it was creepy all the same. The YouTuber would not allow his drone to linger on that scene for far too long, as the individual had been alerted to the presence of it flying there. Many more moments in the air, and that may have incited the witch to lay curses on the YouTuber, or even worse, destroy his expensive drone. Number 6. Shark Attack. Sharks are very gruesome sea animals that nobody would like to encounter, and although they could be tamed, they're impossible to be conquered. A shark's killing instinct is next to none, and in this footage we see that the shark is gearing up to have the fisherman for lunch. This footage would be captured in Port Lincoln, Australia, where we get to witness the energy of a great white shark, apparently tired of being hunted by shark hunters and taken in for sport. This enormous 18-foot shark decided to ambush an innocent crab boat, and odds are that the shark thought the crab boat was a shark hunter and moved in with the intent to kill. This great white shark attacked the crab boat ferociously, wanting to destroy the boat and have the sailor for dinner. Port Lincoln, apart from having a breathtaking view, is notorious for its abundance of sharks. They even have a lucrative cage diving industry. Perhaps the shark was simply on a mission to send a message to tourists and other visitors pertaining to the dangers of being caught in the wild in that region. The great white tugged at the boat with all of its strength of 1,000 sharks, trying to destroy the engine and topple the boat over. The fisherman tried to scare the shark away, but the tricks and techniques only incited the anger of the predator. It tugged at the side of the boat with all of its might, hoping to capsize the boat and tear the fisherman to shreds. After many moments of struggle between man and shark, the man then decides to move away from that region, as it was apparent the shark was out for the kill. Number 5. The Detonating Man. Most times we don't actually get to know what or how people feel at a particular time. There's always that reclusive neighbor that keeps to himself, has no friends or family, and you never see him come out of his home. This drone footage would be captured in Westminster, Colorado, and it features a man's rather inventive but destructive suicide method. While others may cut their wrists, shoot themselves in the head, overdose on drugs, or even jump from a cliff, this man needed to leave the world with a blast in order to make the headlines in the least. Gary Pine would be 59 years old when he decided that he was done with life, and after thinking of the least boring way of dying, he then decided to blow himself up with his house. Gary lived in a home that used natural gas, so in the middle of the night he disconnected the line, allowing the gas to flow freely throughout the home, and that's when he lit a fire, and there went his home, his body, and his life. The explosion was so massive that it sent bits and pieces flying up to 2 blocks away from the house. Nothing was left of the man that could be salvaged, which included the parts of his body. Neighbors would acknowledge the enormity of the blast as it almost took down their homes as well. Someone even compared the blast to the effects of a hand grenade. Residents have admitted that the blast was shocking, but what was more terrifying was the fact that they'd been living close to a suicidal man for years, and nobody had any inclination as to the degree of his depression. One thing that should be mentioned here is that although people do go through a lot of issues, taking your life is not going to solve them, and it will only create an abyss in the hearts of those that love you. So please, if you or anyone that you know is struggling with these things, then by all means, do get the proper help that you need and save yours or someone else's life. Number 4. Drone meets tornado. Prior to the development of drones, tornadoes had been observed from a very safe distance. The extent of its movement and unpredictability would make it one of the most feared natural disasters ever. However, in the footage that we see now, a daring drone makes its way into the whirlwind of a tornado. This tornado would be captured by Tornado Freak, people who love capturing tornadoes on their drones. Before the invention of the drones, these people would go as close as they could with their cars in order to capture the weather phenomena with their cameras, and now they have a very high-definition system that would get them even closer to the tornadoes without putting them in harm's way. In the breathtaking footage, the drone pilot pursues an enormous tornado across a ranch in Oklahoma, getting increasingly close to the massive whirlwind with each second. This is a feat that's never been achieved by anyone who's in their right mind. Tornadoes are known to disastrously remove anything that's in their path, and the footage breaks the record of the closest view that anyone has ever had of a tornado. This footage would be recorded by a crew of extreme weather enthusiasts known as WX Chasing. Terrifying footage shows the gigantic tornado taking apart everything that's standing in its way. However, the drone captured the event and was able to navigate its way willfully away from the tornado's path. The video would be uploaded on Facebook, recording a massive amount of views, comments, and likes. The owner of the ranch where the tornado would occur commented on the video saying, "Thanks for sharing. This was on our ranch. Amazing footage. So thankful no damage." One beautiful thing about these drone-captured videos is that it gives everyone the feeling of a real thing, even though we don't get to experience it firsthand. Who would want to experience a tornado or a shark attack firsthand anyways? Let me know all about it in the comments section down below. Number 3. Creepy Clown Crow. There's a limit to the kind of weirdness that anybody should be able to stomach. And for some people in pop culture, clowns are the thing that really creep them out. With their bright colored outfits, their face paint, and their general regalia, they can be extremely creepy for some. This footage shows just how weird that clowns can be and the extent to which they can take their creepiness. In 2016, clown videos were a very big deal. People were dressing up as clowns and shooting videos in the weirdest of places, all in a bid to make a name for themselves on the internet. Sitting comfortably on the number one spot of the creepiest of clown acts is the clown crow. Although we don't know if it was staged, the footage does show a clown that's dressed like a scarecrow. The video was captured by a famous YouTuber, Voldenhauer. The YouTuber says that the idea he had was to capture the beauty of his town and some surreal footage when he came across a very strange thing in a cornfield. At first, one may not know that it was a clown, but upon closer inspection, it gave the clown away, and then that's when the clown made a run for it. The footage shows the clown running away from the field in a freaky manner, and if it's not weird, well, then I don't know what weird is. Number 2. Sneaking stranger. Everybody's weird in their own way, but for drone footage, we may not have known how weird that people can be. This next video shows a man sneaking up on a couple who are having a good time on their boat. The footage proves that even in the most relaxed of atmospheres, one should always look above one's shoulders to be sure that one is safe. This implies that even if you were in your room or even in the middle of the ocean like this couple, weird things can meet up with you. The man had the intention of stealing from the couple, but the drone footage saved the day. The sneaking stranger was then apprehended by the local police, where he was quizzed, and once again, the drone saves the day. Number 1. The Volcano Man. Now, if you've ever wondered what the fires of hell would look like, then you could take a road trip to the volcanoes of Vanuatu. Nobody in their right mind would want to attempt a trip to a mountain filled with boiling lakes of magma. However, there are people who do try the unthinkable, and some live to tell the story. Others, however, are not so fortunate. In this case, legendary film director and producer Sam Kausman decided to take on the challenge. He would venture into the heart of the Marham crater, a live volcano that's located in Vanuatu, Oceania. This crater is one of the deadliest volcanoes in the world and could melt an individual standing within a 15-mile radius. Kausman was determined to break the barrier, so he got a resistant suit that could withstand the heat of the massive 3,000 degrees, and also went in with a drone that followed his every step. The drone recorded the daring moments that the man had, walking on the sloppy mountain with a pool of boiling lava staring at him. This volcano is full to the brim with lethal sulfuric acid, which means that a wrong step and he would be toast. He was able to reach the edge of the mountain, completing what was otherwise thought of as an impossible task.